Annual surveys in the COI renewal year, or the year 5 survey. And again, you might say, gosh, this is really elementary. We've talked about this a whole lot, and I concur. We have over the years, but we've just seen some situations where people, for some reason, didn't catch this year 5 survey appropriately. Some thought they maybe had that 90 days on the other side. Some thought maybe they didn't even have to do it. But on the chart there on the left, you can see there's a year 1, 2, 3, and 4 annual survey. And as always, they are plus or minus 90 days of the expiration date. The expiration date is considered the anniversary date according to Subchapter M. You can also look at CPC Work Instruction 013. It articulates some of this information that we have on the slide. So particularly focusing in on the year 5 survey time frame, you can conduct it up to 90 days prior to COI expiration. Remember, nothing on the backside. We can start up to 90 days before. You're going to submit that report like you do all the others, but with the corrective action plan. But in this case, you want to make sure you do it at least or no longer than 30 days before your COI expiration. And part of the reason for that is because this year 5 survey is most likely going to be asked for from the Coast Guard, so they can get a current look at your vessel survey conditions. And then be prepared, as it says there at the bottom, to submit your year 5 survey to the OCMI with your COI renewal request. Kind of that 30-day thing, and other things we're thinking along that line is, remember, that's when you have to submit the request to the Coast Guard in writing no sooner than that, the FCG 3752. As with dry docks and ISEs, sometimes you just can't get them done for whatever reason. Well, what about this year 5 annual survey? So what if you cannot get it done? First thing you should do, and some of these points go right along with, doesn't matter what year it is, but particularly focusing in on the COI process here. But advise TVIB as soon as possible, prior to the COI expiration. And you can do that by emailing audits@TVIB.org, or you can just have a phone call with any of the TVIB staff and let one of us know what's going on with your vessel. You're going to have to notify the OCMI as soon as possible. There again, prior to the COI expiration. You're going to need to advise them why the survey was not able to be performed. And then you're going to communicate a plan to them. So here is our plan. We couldn't do it. Here's what we plan to do. And then hopefully the OCMI can buy off on that. Some of these reasons, they could be variable reasons. But one of them, maybe the boat is in dry dock, or maybe it's down for maintenance, or maybe there's a repower going on and the vessel, you can't do all the scope of a survey. So you're just not able to carry it out well. So there's reasons it can happen. Just have to communicate and then document where we get there. So once we talk to the Coast Guard, or once you talk to the Coast Guard as vessel operators, just remember the OCMI, they do have some options. So one option is that the boat could be placed into laid-up status, and then, of course, you surrender the COI. It's just one of the options. I'm not saying that's a favorite option or a great one or a bad one, just saying that's one of them that could happen. The next is Coast Guard could issue your COI with an 835 that says you need to complete all your survey points prior to returning to service. And then the next one could be similar to that, where the Coast Guard, in air quotes, starts the COI inspection process, but they don't actually deliver the COI until after you're done with your dry dock ISC and your annual survey is performed. Then they'll hand that over. And then you see the last one, I've got other, and that other basically is just because there's a bit of inconsistency on how things go throughout the country at different OCMIs. So it could vary among those top 3 points I've got there for the OCMI has options, or it could stay, within those lines. What I've seen so far is the top 3. No idea what the other could be, but we all know working with the Coast Guard, sometimes things vary a little bit. Sometimes a little bit more positive, sometimes maybe not as positive as we'd like. But key on this is communicate, and communicate early.